Alright, so this is the battle with the Fireclaw at the end of the DLC in Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't quite time the recording it starts just a little bit late, but this battle has basically just begun. And I was motivated to play this again, specifically this battle, by having just finished Horizon Forbidden West's DLC, The Burning Shores, and I was thinking about that final battle and how I actually liked this one quite a bit more. And since I hadn't, my most recent Horizon Zero Dawn game file I hadn't beaten this yet, so I thought I would just go ahead and do that. So that's what I'm doing here. So one of the things, I've made quite a few videos now about how you can defeat just about anything in Horizon by bombing them. And so I was a little bit disappointed to learn that the Fireclaw here is actually, he's not quite immune, but he's very strong against bombs. And specifically the explosive damage dealing bombs. So that strategy really was not going to work against him. But the basic freeze strategy was going to work. And so I'm using freeze bombs against him right now. So my equipment is basically, I'm using freeze bombs. I have fire resist armor on, because you can see there's a whole lot of fire damage coming off of him. And I've got freeze bombs, and then once he freezes, I'm resorting to arrows to do the damage. And I tested it earlier, and the arrows were hurting more than the bombs, my normal explosive bombs. So, here I am. I have beaten this guy before, but only on, like story level difficulty or something really easy. I never tried to beat him in under normal circumstances, and this is of course the normal difficulty right now. And one thing I'm using against him too, which I didn't mention before, is the rope caster. Every time I see that he's running wild, I switch to the rope caster and try to shoot some ropes into him. Usually not enough to completely tie him down, but even a few ropes will limit his mobility for at least a short while, and that's helpful for applying the freeze. I have two NPC partners who are helping. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing. I think they're helping to freeze him. They're helping to apply frost, and I think there's a part in this battle where a bunch of other machines come out, smaller machines, and I think they deal with those machines. Now here's the part where a tower comes out. This is one of these Frozen Wilds towers, and if you don't destroy the tower, it will heal the Fireclaw. So I have to destroy it here by hitting that orange thing on its back, and everything kind of went to heck right around here. I mean, I survived, but here I try to override it, and the Fireclaw just knocks me off. Everything just, the addition of these things to the fight made it kind of complicated. But I thought it was a cool addition, because by this point in the DLC, you've dealt with these things quite a few times. You should know exactly how they work. And it was kind of a neat touch to throw them back in. So here we're going to shoot some ropes at him. That was a miss hit right there. I didn't need to swing my sword at nothing. I'm going to frost him up some more. This battle is really, really intense. I feel like, I don't know if it's the arena or just this particular enemy, but I don't think there's another battle in all of Horizon that quite feels just as frenzied and oh my god, what's going on as this battle. And I thought it was it's funny, it was so simple, but yet so great. The Fireclaw is not, in a lot of ways, it's a ripoff of the Frostclaw, but that was actually what was so cool about it, because you see this bear come out and you think oh, how boring, it's another Frostclaw, but no, Fireclaw. And he's a whole different thing. Now this part I'm kind of proud of because it seemed like I had a strategy here that actually did something. See, I rope him with a couple ropes, and then I run over to the tower, and I did the override, and this time he doesn't interrupt me. And I think maybe it's because he was roped down. I'm not totally positive about that, but I think that's why he couldn't get to me. And I was able to override the tower, which adds this shock damage to him, which was pretty good. So at this point, it seems like, I've gotten past the 2 towers. He's only got a quarter of his life left. He's fallen down. I guess that's from the shock. But it seems like this strategy is working pretty well. Freeze him, and then just shoot him with your standard arrows. And my partners are doing the same thing. They're freezing him and they're hitting him with stuff too. So like I said, I was sort of inspired to do this after finishing the Burning Shores DLC. I liked the Burning Shores DLC, but I did not think it was as good as the Frozen Wilds, really at all. And I thought that the final battle, while it was, interesting and sort of cinematically impressive, I just don't think it really compares to this battle. It's just not... This battle to me is like pure Horizon. Like everything you've trained for 120 hours or however long you've been playing it. You've been preparing for something like this, where everything is important, not only just the combat, the way you fight. Wait, I think he's almost dead. One more shot, I think. There he goes. So like your equipment, your fighting style, your adeptness at the weapons, knowing what to do. This was sort of like a supreme test of all of that, and I thought that's what a final battle should be like. Whereas the Burning Shores final battle, I consider that to be more of a gimmick battle. It has different rules, it tests different things, but it's not like a culmination of everything you've been doing for the entire game. I have too many coils, so I had to drop one in order to pick this one up. I also just thought, and just in terms of the emotion of the story, I actually thought that Frozen Wilds was more emotional than Burning Shores, and it was just more moving. I really came to like both of these NPC characters, Aratak and his sister, whose name I can't remember right now. But I actually liked both of these characters a lot. I liked their situation. I thought the whole thing between the shaman and what she calls the spirit was really powerful. Aurea, of course. And this was powerful here too, her being willing to sacrifice herself to save Cyan, the AI, which of course she does. She thinks it's a spirit. She doesn't think it's a computer program. It is actually kind of funny. One thing I was thinking about this this whole DLC story and everything that happened here, like, did they actually accomplish anything? Because as you find out later, they didn't kill Hephaestus. They didn't contain the Fireclaws or even the demonic machines. Really, just this lady. Really, just this lady does, and for what? To free Cyan? I don't know that was necessarily worth it, although it was to her, and I guess maybe that was part of the point. She...
My sister!
To her, this was something important. I think there is a point later, too, where Aloy asks this guy, where would we be if we hadn't done this? And he seems to think that it was worth it, too, but I forget exactly why. I thought this escape scene was also incredibly awesome. Now, at first, I was nervous because there's a part where it hands control back over to you. And I thought, oh no, it's one of these escape sequences. I absolutely hate when games do this, and Horizon does this a few times, where you have to like run and, you know, jump onto this thing and you're timed and you have to get out before the timer or whatever. I hate that kind of thing. And it makes it seem like that's what this is, but they really just have you run about a few feet. They just have you run up here, up these stairs, and then it's over. And then you get this really cool cinematic, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was cool that Aratuk was able to... he proved that he was worthy when he does this big jump here. And then the escape was super dramatic. So with this over, I think I'm done with Horizon 1 and 2. You know, I played... The history of me with Horizon is that I didn't know about Part 1 until... I didn't play Part 1 until 2021, even though it was already 4 years old. I played Part 1 in 2021. And then I played Part 2 in 2022. And both games I played very badly on easy difficulty. And then I played both games a second time on normal difficulty, playing a lot better, being a lot smarter about how to use the different resources and weapons. And I had a really, really fantastic time. Let's watch this here. Great aim to go right out the crack. But yeah, I played both games now exactly 2 times, all the way through, and according to my PlayStation, I've played almost close to 400 hours of Horizon, which would definitely make it, if not the #1, you know, series that I've played, then the #2 behind all the FromSoft games. But I have played many, many hours of Horizon, and it has really kind of moved up. And sometimes I think I like it even more than the FromSoft games, just because it's a little bit more easygoing, lighthearted, fun. It has more of those type of moments. The world isn't just a hellscape. There are some... There's some reason for joy in this world, unlike any of the Dark Souls worlds. And I really like Aloy, you know, I really like being Aloy and just being with Aloy for hours and hours. She's really awesome. I know there's going to be a Horizon 3 sometime, but it's probably many years away now. So I'll have to find something else to do in the meantime. I don't know if there are many games out there that are like Horizon. I know that Ghost of Tsushima was one. I already played that. Maybe there'll be I think there'll be a second Ghost coming out soon, but I'm not really sure. This video is going to cut away here in a second, and it's going to jump to a totally different scene, which is... oh, I thought it was neat here, the way Aloy is sort of just looking up at the snow. Like, after that fight she's just been through with the Fireclaw, she's impressed by snow, I guess so. But, yeah, so we're going to jump to the scene right after Aloy has talked to Cyan, and she goes and talks to this guy for the last time, and then Silence buzzes in, and he talks to her for a moment, and they have sort of a tense exchange. You know, the thing that I thought was so cool about the Frozen Wilds was the way it told multiple stories. The story about Hephaestus and Thunderstrum and the Spirit, that was a great, great story, and that was the main story.
Maria
But it had this
would be alone.
this backstory about Silence and his mysterious past.
You didn't let her down.
And it really built up the idea that
But she was ready.
Silence has a mysterious past, that there's a lot more to know about him, and that that there's some menace to him. You know, you can't, not necessarily just Aloy's friend.
You mean the new units that
I really, really liked
Fireclaws.
I could help with those.
that angle, and I thought that while Forbidden West carried that for a while, it kind of stopped at the end, and
So,
it's not clear to me that they're going to continue it.
Hephaestus too. And unleash them on the world.
You know, it's not clear to me that they're going to get into more about the background of Silence, or create any more tension between Silence and Aloy. And it's certainly not clear to me that Silence and Aloy are going to ultimately have to battle each other, which is kind of what I hope
Mutual,
happens.
that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday we may have to stop it.
We.
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about.
Here's
in
the
Cut
part,
Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave too.
You could stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend
Only
the
to
courtesy
you
of
do I
warning.
extend the
My
courtesy
past
of a
and my
warning.
secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.
I don't ever expect Silence to be like a bad guy, the way that the Zenith were, or Ted Faro. But I think it's very interesting, the idea that he and Aloy are sort of two people that are both extraordinarily talented, but have different motivations, and ultimately might have a conflict over the right way to deal with this whole situation. And that even though neither one of them is necessarily wrong, Aloy's going to have to sort of put him down. I hope it leads to that. I'm not sure that it's going to, but I hope it does.
Summer sun.
Anyway, this will probably be my last Horizon video for a very long time. Totally love this game, love this series. Looking forward to part 3 someday.